Good day, this is Kerry and Cassidy with Engage and Grow. And today I'd like to ask you the question, how is your fear holding you back? Whether it's in your personal relationships or with your career aspirations. So many times at the end of a training session, I get learners coming up to me saying, Kerry, if I could just overcome my fears, I'd be able to go and achieve whatever I wanted to achieve. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat if I could go and share with you some top tips? So here goes. Please get yourself a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to need them. Got them? Cool. Right, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to go and divide your page in two. On the left-hand side of your page, you're going to write down external fears. And on the right-hand side of your page, you're going to write internal fears. Right, so some examples of external fears will be things like natural disasters, floods, fires, war, death, divorce. Can you see that all of these are things that are outside of your control? So external fears are things that you cannot control, but you fear them anyway. Internal fears, on the other hand, are all to do what's going on up here in our brains. So when it comes to what goes on internally, our fears are things like, and please write this down, are things like rejection. So we fear being rejected by the people that we love, people that we're close with, people that we look up to in the workplace, people that are going to move us ahead. It could be that we fear success or failure. It could be that we fear not being good enough or not being judged to be good enough by people in the workplace, in our home life, etc. So internal fears are really those fears that we hold us back internally. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you've done is you've now got two lists, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to really think about where your fear is coming from, your predominant fear, because we've all got lots of fears. I'm talking about your big, bold, ugly, slimy fear. Where's that biggest fear coming from? And I'm going to ask you to write it down. Okay, so for example, one of my fears in the workplace is I fear not being seen to be competent. I fear being exposed as being an imposter. Now that's a real fear that a lot of women have, but that's my fear. Okay, so I've written it down. My fear is being seen as incompetent and being exposed as a fraud. There, I've said it. Okay, that's what you got to do. All right, so what you're going to do now is I'm going to ask you a question, and that question is really important. Okay, so if you can, write it down. So the question is, if you knew you could handle anything that came your way, what would you have to fear? I'm going to say this again. If you knew that you could handle anything that came your way, what would you have to fear? The answer? Nothing. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to write down, I can handle whatever it is. So I know that I can handle being exposed as a fraud or being seen as incompetent because deep down I know that I've got the skills, I've got the emotional intelligence to go and actually deal with it. So the next time you hear that little voice in your head going, I'm fearful, I can't do it, all you need to do is you need to go and change it around to, I know I can. I can handle it. Sounds simple? It's not that simple, but it's a really neat trick, and I'm going to ask you to practice this for the next 7 to 21 days and let me know how it goes. Is that a deal? So my name is Kerry Ann Cassidy. You can get me at info@skilljunction.com.au. I'd love to hear from you. So this has been Kerry Ann Cassidy for Engage and Grow. All the best. Bye.